Giddy up.
Good morning, ATD family. The baseball season is over. My contractual obligations have been fulfilled.
Oh, we'll think of another one.
I'm sure you will, but before that can come into effect, we still have an off season to get through, and we have a lot of stuff we have to talk about throughout the off season. It is ATD. This is Grand Slam Sam. That's Baseball Bill. We're back. We're about to start talking about everything going on in the postseason. We took a couple of weeks off to re-energize ourselves. Bill needed to celebrate his team's victory of the World Series, and now that we're a little bit more refreshed and ready to go, we're ready to start talking off season. I'm going to start this off as we always do. Baseball Bill, how are you doing on this beautiful Saturday?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm doing wonderful. America's team is still the champions. Back to back, might I add. I actually need to get Sam. I need to get a back to back hat for you, or a back to back jersey or shirt, or something like that for you to throw on this next year. This would be good.
I mean, you can get it for yourself. It's not going to go on this body. I told you my contractual obligations have been fulfilled, good sir.
I'll send it to your wife then for her.
She will. It'll go into the workout pile.
Can can I send her a shirt that says two outs plays at first, or is that just too soon?
That's a little too soon. That's a little too close for comfort for her.
There you go. All right.
We're going to jump in by thanking our sponsors, the Art Gallery, which Bill has
Mhm.
a strong affinity for out there in California. Bill, tell me about the Art Gallery.
Our gallery's got two locations, Laguna Beach, and they've got one in the Mission Mall. Todd runs it. He's absolutely a fantastic guy. In fact, I saw him yesterday. And Sam, when you're in town in California, we've got a bunch of places that we got to stop at when you get into town. Let me tell you, we've got a tour to do, but this is one of them. I'll take you to this place. You'll love it.
I am excited. And if you recall from some of the previous episodes we've had, there was a 97% chance I will be at the Fanily reunion. That 97% chance is now 100%. I will be there. I will be out in LA in the middle of January, getting away from the cold of Philadelphia and hopefully enjoying a little bit more warmth out there in SoCal. So if you are listening to this, please come in and spend some time with us at the Fanily reunion. It's going to be a great time. Get to meet myself, Bill, a multitude of other top fan rivalry regulars. Um, Ask our thoughts, ask our feedback. Give us insights into what you want us to talk about as we go into the next calendar year. So we have some great new topics to bring up. We do this for you as fans, just to call this out, and we want to ensure we talk to you about we talk about what you want us to talk about. Our second sponsor, we gotta give a shout out to Mike over at Heads Up Sports Cards, putting out some of the best box and card breaks in the industry. Make sure you check him out on Instagram. Make sure you get over to Facebook. Join Heads Up Sports Cards on Facebook, where Mike does all of his breaks. He does an awesome job breaking everything from baseball all the way down to WWE and everything in between. You don't want to miss out. Uh, Reasonable prices, awesome cards. He is always pulling out stellar autos, parallels, illuminations, anything you could think of. So make sure you get there and make sure you join the Heads Up family. So
Ooh, I like this topic.
now that the season's over, skippers are gone, but new skippers are coming into house. When we look at the skipper lineup as it sits today, there is one position that's left to be filled, and that is in Colorado. Whoever decides to take on Colorado, good luck, because there is a lot of changes that need to be made there, and it will be a tough one to do. But let's talk about the skippers that have gone into new teams this year.
Mhm.
We got Craig Stamen in San Diego, coming off after retirement to become the head coach over there after playing 13 years in the majors as a relief pitcher. We got Walt Weiss coming in as the Braves' new head coach, taking over after he joined as the bench coach. We got Blake Butera who is the youngest MLB manager in MLB history since the Minnesota Twins hired Frank Cuccelli. I think I said that right, in 1972.
Okay.
We got Derek Shelton leaving Pittsburgh and coming over to the Twin City. We got Craig Albernes, who was an associate manager for the Guardians, now moving over into Baltimore, Charm City. We got Tony Vitello, probably one of the most interesting head coaching signings coming out of the college scene with no MLB experience, looking to reunite with Drew Gilbert down there in San Francisco. We got Kurt Suzuki, former Angels player, after spending 16 years in the majors as a catcher. Now moving over from the special assistant position to the GM of the Angels to being their manager. And then we got good old Skippy boy, Skip Shoemaker, leaving, going from the Miami Marlins over to the Rangers, taking over for a legend, one of the greatest managers in baseball, Bruce Bochy, multi-time World Series head coach. So, Bill, let's look at the big picture here.
Okay.
Which of these signings is going to be the best for the team that's currently in play?
I don't know that there's a good I don't know that there's a good way to answer that question. Let's expand the question out a bit. So you have 8 managers that have been signed already. You have
Yeah.
one more to be signed, which means it's almost a third of the league that's getting a new skipper. Um, some of these people have managerial experience, some of them do not. But each one of these teams that you're mentioning is in a position where they're looking to climb, right? And so I guess if you're asking me what the most interesting one might be, it would be Walt Weiss. Walt Weiss did not have a lot of success as a skipper in Colorado, but who does? And then but then you have, he was a bench coach for Brian Snicker, and so it's a lot of the Braves fans feel like it's a lot of the same. It's just the same stuff moving forward, and some of them wanted to see a fresh face. Uh, the biggest challenges I think that you're going to have is I know you love Tony up in San Francisco. He leaves Tennessee with a little bit of a rep. It'll be interesting to see as the Giants have been climbing. It'll be interesting to see how he handles things. Kurt Suzuki, I just looked up on the internet. He played for the Angels in 21 and 22. And what was interesting about that is, as a lot of the players that are on the team now for the Angels weren't on the team when he was there. All guys like Logan O'Hoppe, Zach Neto, some of the younger guys, but guys like Mike Trout, who he's now going to be managing, were teammates of his prior. So that's going to be interesting. Orioles had a horrible season, and so they need to bounce back. They just, we'll talk about hot stove in a bit. But Craig's got his work cut out for him in San Diego. My biggest fear in San Diego is the guys play for the name on the back of the jersey and not the front. And it seems as though that's been the case for a number of years. So we'll
Yeah.
see. We'll see.
Yeah. I want to put some spotlight on one guy right now.
Go.
And no, it's not my guy, Tony Vitello, who, while I know you have a lot of speculation about him, I think he's going to do exceptionally well out there in San Francisco. I want to put the spotlight for a second on Blake Butera. So
Mhm,
Blake Butera is the youngest MLB manager in history. He's
mhm,
33 years old. He
mhm,
is the same age as a lot of active MLB players, maybe not on the Nationals because they are a younger team, but there are some that are pretty close in age to him.
mhm.
How do you as a how do you take command as a manager when the guys you're managing are more or less your peers? I mean, these
Mhm.
guys could have been college roommates. They could have like played against each other in high school. Like, how do you come in there and set yourself apart as a manager in that position?
So it keeps the door open for a lot for the MLB to move younger in a lot of different aspects. And I get where they're going with this. This makes complete and total sense to me. I get it. I really do. But it'll be interesting to see how he does handle some of those things. So it's new, it's fresh, it's everything. A lot of the guys in that clubhouse are really, really young. Dylan Cruz, for example, James Wood. They've got opportunities to be wonderful breakout managers. Players. Historically, the MLB has hired former players, right? After they retired. And when you go back into the 60s, 70s, and 80s, a lot of these guys played well into their 40s because the contracts weren't nowhere near what they are today. Even, you know, adjusting down for inflation, I should say. So a lot of these guys played and then they would come in and they would manage. Billy Martin played into his late 30s, early 40s, started managing, became one of the most prolific managers of Yankee lore and everywhere. So it'll be interesting. The MLB's trying to move younger. He's got a younger club. I think this would be really hard if he was in a team like Atlanta or a team like San Diego, where guys are older than him, potential Hall of Famers like Manny Machado, that might be his age that are potential Hall of Famers, but he doesn't have to deal with that in Washington. He plays in an incredibly difficult division. And so there's not a lot of expectation on him this next year except to get better.
Yeah, and I agree. I think you're right on that. I think while he's not, he's a little bit older than a lot of the players on the team. He's still in that age bracket where I'm worried that he's going to now. And again, when we look at his managerial experience, he managed 4 years in minor league seasons. He compiled a 258 and 144 win loss record with 4 first place finishes. The last 2 seasons, he was a manager in low A Charleston. He went 170 and 82 and won the league championship. So he's got the knowledge and the wherewithal to know what to do to put your team in the right place. But now we also have a situation where you are more or less a child in a world with umpires that are much older than you, have the experience, and they're not going to allow a kid, more or less, and this is no offense to him, to come in there and try to push his weight around thinking he's like all gung ho and show.
Yeah.
So, does he need to would you say in the first year he needs to do something to make a name for himself? Or does he kind of need to balance the field of play action with his managerial style and, you know, maybe not pushing certain umpires buttons early and kind of allowing things to develop? Or do you see him being more of a, I'm going to come out there right out the gate and I'm going to just put it out there?
So I don't honestly, I don't think you really try to throw your weight around at all. I mean, in his case, I don't think you tried to throw your weight around. You've got a lot of young guys on that team. Remember where Washington finished, right? So if you go back and you look at Washington's finish, I'm looking up actual their actual players right now. But if you go back and you look at Washington's standings this last season, they were in last place. They were 66 and 96. Okay, that's not awesome,
Yeah.
right? The year before, they were in second to last place at 71 and 91. Now, they lost 5 more games this season than they did in the 2024 season. And then when you go back into 2023, You look and they are again in last place at 71 and 91. So if I'm Blake and I'm young and I'm looking at my team, I'm first going to get to know all the guys on my team. I'm going to get to know the playmakers. I'm going to get to know my catchers like Kimber Ruiz. CJ Abrams is younger than him. Great player. Uh, Dylan Cruz, like I said, James Woods. I mean, James Wood was born in 2002. James Wood is 23 years old. Dylan Cruz was born in 2002. He's 23 years old. Um, and so you work with your younger guys, and I think your focus is to get to 500. Just get to 500. Make some friends around the league with the umpires. Make some, make some friends, make some, but make sure that you feel like you're dominant enough where people can't push you around, but kind enough where people want to deal with you.
Yeah. And you know this. You know, umpires will let skips get away with a lot before they take action. And then but it's because skips have been, done the right things to the umpires, been respectful throughout their careers, things of that nature. When you're a young coach coming in, and this kind of goes for Tony Vitello too, because Tony Vitello is a hothead at times. But, you know, when you look at and I'm going to eliminate Kurt Suzuki for a minute because he's on a 1-year contract, so I'm not really too focused on him. But when you look at guys like, and even Stemmen, I mean, Stemmen's a new coach in the league as well, coming off of just being retired from baseball for 2 years. When you look at like Walt, you look at White, Derek, you look at Craig, you even look at Skip. They've been managers for a bit. They've created a reputation for themselves. They've, done stuff. They've been there for umps. They've taken themselves away. They've been hard ass. They've been hard on people. They haven't been these young coaches that are coming into the league. They need to do something, in my eyes, to, like you said, do the right. You have to manage it. It's a 50-50 split. I think as we go into next year and we're going to see Eagle Eye coming in where, there'll be some opportunity for players to, um, challenge balls and strikes and give a little bit of pushback on umpires. They'll take a little bit away from coaches having to get in umpires' faces. Um, but I think for these younger coaches, they need to balance in this first year being aggressive to umpires, but still backing their team up and defending them when the time is right and not just going out to defend them every single time.
So one of the things that Craig has too, and one of the issues that Craig's going to face as well is though Craig's in his 40s, again, his last season was in 20, let's see, his last season was in 2022 and it was with the Padres. So guys like Manny Machado, guys like Fernando Tatis Jr., um, guys like some of the pitchers, Hugh Darvish, Joe Musgrove, they all played with him,
Yeah.
right? And so now you're looking at it and you're going, all right, this is going to be awkward. You're my new boss. And so it depends on how guys like Manny Machado will view that. Will Manny actually look at it and say, you know what, I'll listen to him as my boss, or will Manny take and be Manny and not look at him as his boss and say, listen, you're not going to tell me what to do.
Yeah. I mean, I think if you're a head coach, I mean, Kurt Suzuki's in a similar position, but again, Kurt Suzuki he's only on a 1-year contract. So they're using him as a middle ground to, find their real next long-term skip, which,
Well, part of the reason why they're doing that too, and I'm not going to mention the name here on this show, but part of the reason why people are only getting 1 or 2 year deals right now with the Angels, I don't think it's a Kurt Suzuki like fill-in spot. The Angels are facing a major, major, major lawsuit. And if the lawsuit settles this season, the owner could come out of pocket with a significant amount of cash. And if he has to do that, like that's why you're not seeing the Angels sign a lot of people to long-term deals because they don't know what their cash position is going to be like soon. So Kurt Suzuki might come in. Now he's the everyday manager. Like you said, he was working with Perry Manassian. Now he's the everyday on-field manager, and he may hate the role, dealing between Perry and dealing with the players, and he may hate the role after a year and say, "Nah, this wasn't." Or the cash position might get better for the Angels, and they might sign him to a better deal. The Angels have to get better, but they're not. I mean, and we'll talk about this in the second when we get to Hot Stove, but we're not. They're not looking. They're not on paper. They're not looking better.
Yeah, no. And I think the Angels might, you brought it up, they're in this lawsuit right now. There might be an ownership change in LA.
Ownership change can't happen until after the lawsuit's settled.
No, but I'm saying because of the lawsuit, once it settles, there could be an ownership change that could potentially turn
Yeah.
this team around. They might come in with a giant influx of cash, like Steve Cohen did with the Mets, and look at how that turned out. Um,
Yeah.
Lost.
Agreed. Agreed.
Um, I do want to, before we move to Hot Stove, I do want to touch on Tony Vitello, trying to take it from a
Of
homer
course you
stand.
do.
He comes from the college world. He's had a lot of success there. He's coached a lot of guys, a lot, and you're seeing a lot of players that were under Tony Vitello's wing come out and speak very highly of him, saying that he's ready for this. He brings an energy to the clubhouse that you don't see that often from a skipper. Where is your biggest worry for Tony?
Um, I have a little bit of a weird inside information on this. Um, I my concern is he might get in his own way. My concern is his ego is just as big as the guys in the clubhouse playing. And so my concern is he's going to need to learn how to taper that. He's going to need to learn how to take the phone call at 2 o'clock in the morning after a very long loss or 12-2 loss in Washington at his hotel by the GM saying, dude, you guys got to get together. And here's what I want you to do. I want you to do this, 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 and this. And he's also got to be able to hear from his players, hey, Skip, I'm not feeling well today. Can I sit down? Or that, college kids are different. They don't have contracts, right? They have scholarships, yes, but if they act up or they act out or they um misplay their code of conduct, they'll lose their scholarship. They're off the team. And there's 100 kids behind them that want to play. When
Yeah.
you're playing in the MLB, what are you going to do with a guy like a Rafi Devers who makes $30 million a year when he walks in to your office after going 2 for 4 or 2 for 22 and looks at you and says, Skip, I don't want to hear what you have to say, dude. And all Tony was trying to say is, hey, you're leaning into something or whatever. Skip, I don't want to hear what you have to say. Get out of my face. You can't like make the guy run. You can't make the guy go away. I mean, he's got a huge contract. So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see how he manages that aspect of it.
Yeah. Now, with that, there was the bringing back of Bruce Bochy as a special advisor to Buster. Do you think? Wait, hold on. Do you know what my question is going to be before you just start shaking your head?
No, I'm shaking my head because I think that is for lack of better terms, a political move. It's a way for the Giants fans to feel nostalgia and a way that the Giants fans can feel like their team is making progress forward. Go ahead, though. Ask your question.
So I hear what you're saying, and I'm not looking at it in a way of saying that it's the Giants looking at a progress forward and getting some nostalgia back. I'm looking at it in the sense of Buster is bringing in a Hall of Fame coach that has been in this league for years to help to help his newly hired coach help get acclimated to the league and help give him a way of balancing out what he's done in college with how to transition that to the MLB scene.
And that may be the case, but Bruce Bochy's in his 70s. How often is he going to be at the stadium?
Yeah,
What is
that's
his
why he's a
real
special
role?
advisor.
What is his real role going to be? Right.
Right.
I mean, I understand exactly what you're saying. So let's fast forward. So let's just play for fun here. Let's say that in 6 years,
I thought you were about to say start one, bench one, cut one. I was going to jump through
No,
this.
no, no, no. Let's say in 6 years, Dave Roberts retires as Dodgers manager. And just for fun, he wins one more World Series. So he's won 4 World Series. At that point, he would have won 4 World Series as a manager for the Dodgers. Okay. And Dave Roberts is 53 years old. So he retires when he's, say, 60 years old. Well, then the Dodgers go on a 10-year skid where they make the playoffs one time, but they're barely breaking 500. They're doing a little bit of what the Giants are doing, like they're showing signs of life, but then the signs of life don't materialize, whatever,
I mean, you're
right?
speaking music to my ears, to be honest with you. I'd be super happy about all of
Well, exactly.
that.
So 10 years later, when Dave Roberts is 70 years old, the Dodgers hire him as a special assistant to the special assistant to the special assistant to the assistant coach's special assistant, right? And it makes me feel better as a Dodger fan. I'm thinking, all right, Dave's going to be there, man. He won 4 World Series. He's going to coach through whatever, right? But then in reality, it may be just Dave showing up on occasion and, tipping his hat, waving to people.
Yeah.
He may only show up at the field a dozen times in a year. Now, if Bruce Bochy's going to be there for a significant period of spring training and he's going to be there for a significant period of time during the season, this is awesome. But I mean, when you're his age, I mean, you watched him walk out to the mound, he can barely walk, right? He's getting older, and we're
Yeah.
supposed to get older. And so, no disrespect to him, he's had a great career as a player and as a manager. Oh my gosh, he's had a great career, but he doesn't need it anymore. And so, it'll be
I
interesting.
think
It'll be interesting to see how his role plays.
I agree. I think I agree with you on both sides. I agree with you that yes, it is a sense of nostalgia coming back, but I think there is also this world in with him where he's like, look, I'm going to be available on call. I'm going to be at spring training. And that's the thing. It's not like he has to walk out to the mound. He just needs to stand next to the coach. Like that's all
Yeah.
he needs to do. He
Well,
needs to
that's
help Tony acclimate to changing of the guard of this is no longer college. This is pros. And these are the personalities you have to manage. These are the types of conversations you're going to have to have. These are how you have to manage these types of conversations. This is what I have done. Do you have any questions? And I think that's why Buster brought him in. I think he brought Bruce back to be a Tony Vitello sounding board.
yeah.
That's
I
my,
And see,
but
and that may be true. If I were a betting man, though, I would go the opposite direction. I would say that he brought him in for the reason that I talked about.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why we're allowed to have our own differences of opinions and we can agree to
Mhm.
disagree.
All I
Let's
know is, say it with me, Sam. Back to back. Not so much.
No, my
I was.
contractual obligations were fulfilled on that the last day of the season. We're
Let's
over
go Yale.
Oh, let's talk about the hot stove real quick. Josh Naylor signed a huge 5-year, $95 million contract to stay in Seattle. While he has signed a contract, look at everyone that declined their player options or opted out of qualifying offers. We got
Right.
Kyle Tucker, Alec Bregman, Schwarber, Bo, Dylan Cease, Cody Bellinger, Ranger Suarez, Edwin Diaz, Luis Arias, Eugenio Suarez, Framber Valdez, and Michael King. We got a ton of names on this list, and a lot of these guys are going to be hot names coming this offseason. Who,
Correct.
real quick, because I know we're getting wrapped up on time, because of course I like to overtalk too much. Who is going to be who on this list
Hmm.
is going to be the first name off the board? Who is going to be the last name off the board? And which player on this list is going to go to the most random team, and what team is it?
Okay. A lot of questions.
All three questions in once. I didn't
Yeah.
want to.
A lot of questions. Probably the first name off this board will either be Ranger or Dylan Cease. These guys need to have bounce back. They probably need to see some fresh light in another spot. I don't know. I think Breckman and Cody just opted out to get longer deals and bigger deals. Both of them had good seasons. I've talked to a bunch of Yankee fans. They want to keep Cody around. So we'll see how that all plays itself out. Framber Valdez will come off early. He made some mistakes in the end of the regular season. We don't need to rehash those, but his agent will probably try to get him off the board sooner than later. My understanding from what I hear from the Houston sports fans, they don't want him back, and it sounds like he is looking for big time money. It sounds like he's looking for like a 6 to 7 year deal over 200 million. That's not going to happen. The most random one to come off this board, and where's he going? I hate to absolutely say this because I don't know that I love this, but Edwin Diaz has been rumored to have significant talks with the LA Dodgers and the Mets, and that was all over X this week. That was all over some social medias with some insiders like Jeff Sayan, or however you say his name. Um, I don't know that I love that. I really don't know if I love that. Mets fans are up in arms because they could lose Diaz. They lost some of their bench coaches to Atlanta. So yeah, it's Bo Bichette will stay. Kyle Tucker will either stay where he's at or he will go to, you ready? He's going to go home. He was born and raised around Cincinnati. So if Cincinnati can afford him, he will go to Cincinnati. But I don't know that they can afford him.
All right. My hot takes on this as a hot stove.
Yep.
Hot
Everybody's
take.
going to the Giants, right?
No.
That's usually your
First name off this board is going to be Kyle Schwarber to Cincinnati.
and where?
Cincy.
Cincinnati?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's going to be the
Yeah.
first name off this board.
Yeah.
Last
Problem is Cincinnati doesn't have that kind of cash though.
He's a homer though. He'll go home
I,
for it.
yeah. Well, he's going to want a 5 year, $200 million price tag. Cincinnati can't do that and keep uh, some of their guys, right? I mean,
Well, we'll
especially
see
De
what
La
happens.
Cruz.
Yeah, this is why it's my hot takes, and that's why
Okay.
again we'll have to have
Sam's
our
hot take. Sam's hot take.
most what was it? First name, last name off the board. Last
Uh-huh.
name off this board, I think, unlike who you think, is going to be Framber Valdez. I think
Uh-huh.
teams are going to be looking to sign pitchers that are solid pitchers and don't have a clubhouse port like
Issue.
uh, issue.
Yeah.
They're going to look at Framber. He already has, again, we don't need to hash it, but because of the issues in Houston, that is going to put a lot of strain on his, him getting signed early. I agree he's going to take a short-term deal, but I think that's going to be a short-term deal probably within 2 weeks to maybe a week of spring training starting. The player that's going to be signed to the most unique team is, and
I'm listening.
I didn't put, I don't know why I don't know how I missed putting Pete Alonso on this list, but I forgot him.
Okay. I'm listening.
But no, I think the player that's going to go to the most unique team
Uh-huh.
is we're going to see Dylan Cease
Uh-huh.
go to the White Sox.
Back to the White Sox, I doubt it.
This is why it's my hot takes.
It's why it's your hot take, but I like it. I disagree. It gets the square, but I like your hot take. I love the fact that
imagine him going back to the White Sox, and then all of a sudden they have this this incredible resurgence. Like it would be the craziest thing to ever see. Because if you remember, fans, when last Dylan was there, they were on the up and up, and then he left, and then they went on the down and down. So
right, exactly.
Who knows? The south side of Chicago could always be look forward to taking them back. It is what it is. Bill, you have a fantastic week of throwbacks this week.
Yeah, we do. We're gonna do something a little different this week. We are going to throw it back. We're gonna go back through some of the episodes Monday through Friday and throw it back to earlier episodes this season.
Might have one of me in there. Who knows? I don't know if we did this year. You did more last year than we did this past year.
Yeah.
We got a great 27-ounce club card break this coming week. We are breaking out Panini Crusade from 2024. It's a premium box, two autos. We are looking for some iconic blue, teal, and platinum variants.
Cool.
You got some exclusive parallels in blue, gold's number to 10, black mojos are 101. This is a great box to get into. Again, we're looking for two autographs on average per box. This breaks on Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you are a member of the 27 Ounce Club, your favorite team is already secure. If you want a second
Over here.
team, though, make sure you get to topfanrivalry.com, sign up, look and see what teams are available, grab your team before Monday, and see if maybe you could be one of the lucky ones to pull out one of these incredible parallels or one of the two autos that comes out of it. We want to once again wrap up the show by thanking our sponsors, the Art Center Gallery with the two locations down there in Southern California, and Heads Up Sports Cards. Bill has grown a really close relationship with Mike over there at Heads Up, breaking every other week here on Top Fan Rivalry. I mean, Bill, do you have anything great like
No, Mike's amazing. In fact, Mike and I, I'm just looking at the schedule here. Mike and I are scheduled to break, I think, either December 1st or December 2nd the next time. And he's 100% super pumped about it.
Yeah, it is an awesome collaboration that I was lucky enough to introduce to Bill. So,
Yes, yes.
it means a lot to see this collaboration growing and expanding. And these are two guys that always like to bust my chops on a regular basis. So what else is new
Hey,
from
it's fun.
it
That's
is
what we
fun.
do.
As we wrap up the show, Bill, first postseason top ATD done. Anything you want to
Well,
wrap us
hey,
up on?
you know what, everybody, if you're listening to this and you haven't done this, Sam's already a member, but you need to go into the free clubhouse. You can sign up for free, and there's articles back there. There's old rivalry talk episodes back there. There's all kinds of fun stuff. So go check that out. TopDownRivalry.com right there on the front page. Join the clubhouse. It's free. Yes, I'm excited.
Love it. Love it. And Bill, wrap it up as you always do, my friend.
Uh, we'll fight win.
Go fight win. Thank you for
Um,
joining us on ATD this week, as always. And as Bill just mentioned, make sure you're checking out TopFanRivalry.com for the new articles, podcasts, the merch. Join the t-shirt and the 27 Ounce Club. Make sure you're signing up for the exclusive member events. And do not forget about signing up for Top Fan Rivalry Family Reunion this year in January.
yes.
Second week of January. You are not going to want to miss it. It's going to be an awesome time. Bill has got an incredible schedule populated. And keep a lookout this Friday. From what I heard from a little birdie said there might be a little Black Friday special coming to get your family reunion tickets. So make sure you're checking it out on Friday. And who knows, that Black Friday deal might run into Cyber Monday because nowadays it's not one day of deals, it's about a week and a half's worth of deals because everyone just loves to run deals and specials for as long as humanly possible to get more business. It is what it is.
Exactly,
Thank you
exactly.
so much for joining us this week on ATD, and we will see you on the field in about 2 weeks.
See you then.